Hello, everyone. You are welcome to Integrated Revenue and Retention Podcast. I'm Dr. John Osarere, consultant, technology, and business advisor. In today's podcast, I will be speaking on integrated revenue and retention with personal story and integration strategy. This podcast, of course, will provide long-lasting solution to the prevailing challenges and problems confronting business owners, service professionals, and entrepreneurs. The problem of the day has to do with sales, irrespective of the enterprise size, the market size, yet that problem persists. But it should not be. For there is an answer. There is a long-lasting solution with the help of integrated revenue and retention podcast. The reason for this is because the traditional system of marketing, sales, and customer service has not been able to capture all the factors that influence revenue and retention. Therefore, this podcast today will provide answers to the following objectives. 1. Determining business requirements and outcomes with story formula. There is a story formula that can provide answers to sales growth and business growth. And today, in this podcast, we shall be able to highlight and explain how this formula works. Number 2, determine the unique value and value proposition. Every business owner has a value proposition. And this has to be transparent enough to stakeholders, customers, and employees in such a way that there will be a total alignment of these values with the set goals. The third objective is competitive advantage. We must be able to move at every stage in the journey of our customers with advantage. When you do not move with an advantage from initial point to the final point of your customer, when you are not able to touch their pain points, when you are not able to understand your customer fully, it will be difficult for you to inspire them to the apex of their destiny, to the fulfillment of their dream. and, of course, maximizing revenue as well as retention. So, we must therefore make use of this story formula. I have also designed a digital transformation diagram that will help to transform and transfer these unique values of yours. Because I believe everyone has a unique value. Everyone has this potential. It just takes skills. It takes action to be able to actualize it, maximize it, and manage it. Of course, today is obvious and seen that more than 70% of the businesses that are already established do fail because of business requirements management. When you do not have sufficient data and factor that capture the behavior of your customers, when you do not have the data that capture the sentiment of your customers, when you do not know the demand, the requirements of your customer, definitely is going to affect your sales and business growth. Hence, the need for integrated revenue and retention podcasts that will help highlight both the benefits as well as the pain points of customers. The same goes to employees. When employees are not satisfied, and more especially when they are fired for no reason, it influences their family. It affects their destiny. It affects their future. And eventually affect your sales. But the solution is so simple and it's within your fingertip. And yet there is a struggle. I have this, and it happened to me. And this created a gap. A long gap that I could not fill, and there was none to stand at the gap on my behalf. This is my story. Then when I was young, even when I was born, my parents got separated. At the beginning, it was painful, very hurtful. This separation created a gap, an experience gap. But today, I've understood that there is a way to handle separation and gap and make it useful. Today, I've been able to design a mathematical model for revenue and retention that has been able to capture the factors that I experienced in my story. separation was just one. But today I have a 5-parameter based model. So also I have a 5 key indicators in my story. The first one being separation, and then the separation led to stress. I call it the 5 S's of my model. It led to stress. I was not able to pay my college fees. And when I eventually met my dad, after 12 years, I was so happy. That was a breakthrough when I met him. But I discovered at the same time that he could not pay for my school fees. And that created another pain. You can see a trend in my story, and I used it for my advantage. From separation to stress. So, I use it to design the model. I also use it to design my story formula, which you need. And I'm using it today also to write my report, my gap report for customers, for my customers that include business owners, service professionals, and entrepreneurs. There is a gap that is affecting your sales that needs to be closed. But today, there is a lasting solution. It has to stop. Get my reports. Get my models and get the story formula. It did not only stop with stress, it gradually entered into strength. At this time, when I could tell stories in my schools, when I learned from some lessons that I needed to use, I needed to teach, when again I gained entrance into the university through scholarship. So this became some breakthroughs. So there is a formula of core, pitfall, and breakthrough. Which of course, from the pitfall, involves search and eventually lead to a breakthrough that creates a space, that creates an advantage for you. At this point, I would like to say that you need a number that identifies your uniqueness, your unique value. It needs to be determined. You need to be able to convert your intangible values that work in as internal transformation inside of you, that work in your mind. You need to be able to have a type of mindset that is free, a mindset that can be enlarged, a mindset that has a purpose to achieve, a mindset that can be measured skillfully with strategy. Hence the need for digital transformation, changing your internal transformation into your external transformation. This is possible with the help of integrated strategy. This is possible with the help of a transformation diagram. I constructed a revenue and retention diagram with my story through digital data transformation and integration. This is possible. I'm able to write gap reports. I'm able to design unique values and turn them into data that are useful today. So, you are listening to my voice, you have an opportunity to do so. Make use of these tools available with integrated revenue and retention program. This podcast will continue, and we shall continue to highlight these factors and parameters that affect revenue and retention with the help of our story formula and the diagram. Of course, I would like to touch on what the diagram consists of. It consists of 1. The creation and validation phase. Your story formula is able to help you discover the purpose of your business and even the purpose of your life. Then the next phase is content creation, where you are able to come up with your program and message designed to attract customers and stakeholders. And the third phase is opportunity creation and automation. Here, the marketing strategy and the management strategy is automated as your system and as a vehicle to take you from the initial phase to the final phase, thereby being able to see the end from the beginning as a roadmap with a GPS. This podcast definitely will answer all the questions that pertain to sales and business growth with total alignment of your customer requirements and your goals. So you are able to capture the requirements of your customers. And you are able to embed these requirements into your business model and requirements cost effectively. At the end, you are able to have the sales you desire. You are happy with your family. You are achieving the purpose of your existence. But at this juncture, I would like to say that for this to happen, you have to operate with an advantage at all levels. An advantage in knowledge, an advantage in your environment, an advantage with your resources. This only happens when the business owner's experience equates with customer owner's experience as well as employee experience. At this level, you have a free flow of cash, a free flow of movement, a free flow of high ticket customers, where your employee will be retained and your customer will be retained and become advocates for your brand. So you have an opportunity to be able to manage your data and transfer it accordingly. So you are able to perform cost effectively and efficiently. This is what is needed. This is what you want. This is what will be delivered when you continue to listen to my podcast. At this point, I'm encouraged to inform you that you take away one, how to determine your business requirement with the help of your story. 2, how to determine your customer needs and values. 3, how to determine your unique value proposition. 4, how to have an advantage. 5, how to maximize your revenue and retention. If you work the system, you adopt the tools and the charts and diagrams I will be offering you from time to time in this podcast, the system surely will work for you. If you need help and support, contact me. book a meeting with me personally at www.calendly.com/info5integrated. Download your free revenue and retention gift at www.integratedconsulting.org. Feel free to always comment and ask your questions that will help us develop this podcast. At the same time, I encourage you to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you. Expect to meet you and talk to you again next week at this time.